your soul. Hunting alone, traveling from the deep forest into the sun. In war, there's never an option to run. Oh, oh, Geronimo, tears keep on falling, the nighttime is ours. Oh, oh, Geronimo.
That's not straight, but it'll do. Where are we?
In a forest.
We are in a forest. We don't know what the forest is called, but it's in the hills up above Betws Y Coed in North Wales, Snowdonia National Park.
Or if you're English, Betws Y Coed.
Or if you're my sat-nav, Betws Y Coed. I am feeling as rough as a luck today, because we both have COVID last week, didn't we, kid?
Yeah,
Bit of a COVID hangover.
I'm not feeling too bad.
We've come to this cottage up in the hills. It's got no electricity, bottled gas, no mains water at the moment because it's been closed for a couple of years because of COVID and they're waiting for some test results to come back. But basically it's an off-grid cottage up in the hills.
Looks more like a bunkhouse than a cottage though.
Yeah. It's in a beautiful location. You're surrounded by nothing but trees and hills. It's the perfect place to come and get some peace and solitude.
So we've come in the van, but
We have come in the van, but we came in the van to carry all our kit, basically. If we needed cups, water, all that type of stuff. It was a lot easier to just chuck it in the van.
we just seem to have it all there. I've not checked if there's a kettle yet, but there's pots and pans and all that sort of stuff, isn't there? So
Yeah.
there might be a gas hob kettle.
Yeah, so we've come for a bit of a mooch in the forest before it goes dark, basically. It's due to go dark in less than an hour. There's a reservoir about half an hour's walk away. Looks like a decent sized reservoir on the OS map. So we're just trying to get recce the route really before we then go back, make a fire and have a couple of drinks. So we're going to go before it gets too dark to find our way back. We've managed to find our destination, which is this reservoir, about half an hour walk from the cottage, and it's flat calm, very peaceful. There was a little fly angler having a little dabble before, but he's gone now. Just look at this. The lights disappearing quite quick, so we're gonna have to be heading through that forest pretty sharpish. Nothing wrong with being cautious, kid. We're now into the deep forest section of the route. And there's a bat. That's what it looks like with no torch. So many shrooms. We made it. Let's get that fired on. this, aren't I?
So this is the cottage.
And this is the evening in the cottage, and I'm sure the acoustics in here are pretty shocking because I can hear it echoing myself.
Is that not a good thing?
No.
So yeah, as you can see from our surroundings, it's very basic. I mean, we've brought in our own table and chairs from the van, but you've got a log burning stove. It's a big room. If there was a group of you, it'd be nice just to sit in here, have a drink and relax, which we've done in the past with friends, haven't we?
It's currently bonfire night, and if we had a nervous dog, this would be absolutely perfect on bonfire night, because we've just heard a couple of mediocre fireworks in the distance, but
And when we say we, Alan heard them outside, I didn't hear them in here, so it's quite soundproofed.
oh yeah. But yeah, we haven't got a nervous dog. We haven't got a dog, but even Oscar used to come to.
Well, we took him to a fireworks display.
We took him to a firework display, and all he did was just sniffle around looking for food in the leaves on the floor. Yeah. So we're just gonna relax for a little bit. Watch this flames. Have a couple of beers. We've brought a couple of
frozen
pizzas
pizzas
to throw in the oven.
And a garlic bread.
The beer's all nearly gone, so now we've got the pizza on the go. Quick question for anyone who has a log burner. Do you leave the door open or shut? I would assume shutting the door prolongs the effects of the fire, and opening the door feeds it with more oxygen, burns hotter and faster, but obviously throws more heat out into the room. We've never had a log burner before, but this thing, we've got the doors open and it's absolutely toasty.
We weren't going to tell you this bit. We were going to make it all look so magical and dreamy. But we decided to sleep in the van last night, didn't we?
We did. We spent a lot of money on this van originally, so why on earth wouldn't you sleep in your own van? The weather was a bit grim last night, and it is this morning, but yeah, we chose to sleep in a comfortable bed that we're familiar with. It worked a treat.
There was a few bugs in the bedroom as well, so I don't like bugs.
So we're going to make a brew in our luxurious kitchen now.
Is that this one or the one out there?
Out there. Have some sausage butties, wait for this rain to die off, and then get back out in that forest hopefully. We want to see much more forests. We're going to explore this one and others, so if anyone's got any recommendations as to where is a good place to go and park up and explore the forest, don't care whether it's a day walk or an overnight spot, let us know where you think we should go. So what are we planning to do today? Just having a sausage butty. We've had our coffee in the front of the fire this morning. We'll give it a little tour of this cottage before we go, but in the meantime, the rain looks like it's stopped. So we're going to go for a little mooch through the forest in the daylight this time and treat ourselves. The tree's watching you. This is why you gotta love the forest. Shows you so many things you wouldn't see anywhere else. Like this tree that seemingly is growing diagonally out of the earth because there's nothing underneath it. That's how wide the road is, the access road to the cottage over the little bridge. Scientific measurements. Where we are right now is a 17th century farmhouse, cottage, bunkhouse, building type thing. And what we're going to do right now is show you round
The luxury.
we're going to show you around. Bear with me because there's no light in here, so the light might be a bit dark in most of the rooms.
So this is the living room. As you can see, it's as basic as it comes. No lighting, window, obviously big wood burning stove, which you'd have seen us sitting all cosy in front of last night. Plenty of seating, needs a bit of a dust. We just brought our chairs and table in from the Cali last night, set it up in front of the fire, had a few drinks and a pizza, and it was delightful. So the opposite side of the entrance and stairs, you've got a kitchen. Yeah, it's got everything you need really. It's got a 4 gas hob, grill and oven. It's got loads of cutlery, kettles, pans, everything you could need. Cleaning up stuff. It does normally have running water, and it does have running water at the minute, but it's literally just for washing your hands with sanitizer because they're waiting on tests back from a lab. But I know last time we come it did have running water that you could use. And then a big sort of serving space. So yeah, that's the kitchen.
The toilets are where the luxury really kicks in. I've managed to fill a memory card on my big camera, so I'm now working with a little camera. So as I was saying, the toilets, there's 2 fully functioning toilets. Number 1s and number 2s available. There are a couple of sinks as well. That's about it. Oh, and there's a mirror. There's no shower facilities. We'll now take you upstairs to show you the 2 bedrooms, because that's all there is upstairs. So this place does sleep up to 13 people. It's got bunk beds. They're not the most luxurious. Again, it's there's a bit of a running theme here. This isn't about luxury, this place. It's about a unique experience. 1 bedroom has got 7 single bunks in here, and I'm guessing the next one's got the remaining of the 13, which is what? I don't know. COVID hangover. Bedroom number 2 with the remaining 6 bunks. Got a little fire exit there as well, which takes you out to the back of the property. So that concludes the full tour of this luxurious mansion property. As we've said, this isn't luxury. This is all about location. So a few months ago when we were in Southport, we mentioned that we wanted to bring a few people to a unique place. And this is the place that we mentioned. We asked on our video if anyone would be interested in coming to spend the night, have a few beers and a bit of food with us in a nice, unique location. This is where we were talking about. So this gives you an idea as to what you might be letting yourself in for. What I would say is, after you've now digested this video, have a think about it and then let us know if you really would like to come, because we're going to be limited on numbers. This sleeps up to 13 people. We're going to have a think about how many people will actually be able to park in the car park and what have you, but we're guessing there'll be roughly 10 people on top of me and Sarah. We'll cover all the details in a much shorter video, midweek, something like that, but what we want you to do is just let us know if this is the type of dump that you fancy coming to. Obviously there's the ability to sleep in your own van in the car park. What we did last night is we used this place to sit in front of the fire and have a few beers and have some food, and then slept in our own van. Use the toilet in the cottage as well. It's entirely up to you. You can come in a car if you want and sleep upstairs. It's more than adequate, it's more than fine. Just we've got a nice luxurious bed in our camper van, so we chose to sleep in it. What we're also thinking of doing is, if people do come here, there's no real plan, we don't really make plans, but an idea would be to walk through the forest to the reservoir. If the weather's good, we can go for a little bit of a dip, have a little wander through the forest. Anyone who likes a bit of foraging, there's millions of mushrooms here. There's a number of fallen trees as well, so we might even get the opportunity to chop up some wood for the fire. And then simply just come back to the cottage, have a few beers, have a pizza or whatever, and just relax for the evening. One final point: if you've got a motorhome, don't come in your motorhome, you won't get here. I know people say, oh yeah, I can manage the roads. There's a tiny little bridge that goes over a stream to this cottage. You will not get your motorhome over the bridge. The road from the bridge leading up to the cottage is a little bit uneven. If you've got a low slung van or a low slung car, forget it, you'll get beached. You don't need an off-roader. Our van got up here quite easily, but it's a rough road for about 2 miles from the town centre here. Just be aware it's not too kind to your vehicle. That's the end of our trip. We've been rained off. We're going to spend more time in the forest, and we want you to send us any recommendations for places that you can camp, whether it's in your van or a shed, or maybe even a great wild camp spot where we can go and stay in the tent. We're actually thinking of getting a hammock and a tarp. Some of these forests haven't got big flat spaces where you can get a tent in. Naturally it would make much more sense to get a hammock out.